Hi everyone, my name is Nikki J. Marcus. Welcome to my channel. For those new here, I'm an author and an editor, and I post videos here on YouTube about reading, editing, writing, and all the other things I love. I'm here today to do a tag for you. So this is a booktube tag, and it's called the No Disclaimer tag. Now this one is, I believe, created by Catalyst Reads, although when I tried to follow back to original posts and links, I did find that she's doesn't seem to be running the channel, or he. I'm actually not sure if it's a girl or a boy, or they, just to be inclusive. I'm not sure if that person's channel is just gone completely, if they've moved it. If you know, pop it below, because I would like to credit them if I can. Moving straight along though, we've got 8 questions to go through. Number 1, which trope in books annoys you the most? I would think I would have to say it's the YA love triangle. I do get a bit sick of how so many YA novels have to have this love triangle, and most of the time it's not really necessary. It's just become a thing that all of them have it, and I'm actually really thrilled these days when I pick up a YA book that doesn't have it. Recently I read 1 or 2, the titles are just escaping me at the moment, but and I really loved that it does seem to be something that's being moved away from now, because I am sick to death of it. Number 2, which writers do you feel are overrated? The first couple that come to mind are the ones I'll do. E.L. James, who wrote 50 Shades of Grey. Those books are really popular simply because everyone assumed they were really salacious and thought they ought to get in on all the sex and the action. I don't like the books for a couple of reasons. I don't like the inaccurate descriptions of BDSM in them, which just highlights dangerous practices and isn't fair on the real community out there that are doing things safely. And I also really can't stand the writing. The prose is absolutely appalling, and if it hadn't already become such a hit on the internet, I doubt a publisher would have picked it up from a manuscript slush pile, because it's really badly written. So I couldn't even get through the entire book. I read a few chapters and the writing was so bad I couldn't do it. So definitely, yeah, E.L. James is overrated, and those books have been huge sellout. But I think it's just because everyone thought it was something a bit naughty, really. And the other one I would mention is J.K. Rowling, and now please don't jump down my throats about this. Unlike E.L. James, I'm not saying she's a bad writer. I'm just saying she's an average writer who gets a bit more credit than she deserves. The stories are not hugely original. Wost Witch had already done magical school settings. There's a huge amount of Tolkien and C.S. Lewis in Harry Potter. And I still find Harry Potter enjoyable to watch on the films, to read as the books. I've read them all, seen them all. I just think that they're given a bit more credit than they deserve. The only time I would really advocate them though is the fact that they have got a lot of young people reading who perhaps weren't readers before. So for that I definitely salute her. But I think she's just sort of had a lucky break with them, and there are other writers who are maybe better writers in terms of the craft of writing, who maybe deserve a bit more recognition too. Number 3, the least favourite books you've read since joining BookTube. I'm actually not going to do this one. When I saw the question I was a bit unsure about it. I don't think it's fair. I mean, I put up my book reviews on my blog. I talk about them at the end of each month here on YouTube. And I will say if there are books I've read I didn't like. However, I don't want to just really zoom in and highlight those authors. I feel like I've given them their feedback, and I'm not going to drone on about stuff I don't like. I don't think it's fair, because other people might like books that just didn't appeal to me. So I'm missing that question. Book 4, question 4. A terrible ending that ruined an otherwise good book. When I saw the questions of this, I was racking my brains trying to think of one. I don't think I can actually come up with anything where I'd say it ruined the book. There are definitely books where I've been disappointed with the ending, perhaps because it didn't quite go the way I wanted it to go personally. You know, the characters didn't get the ending I wanted for them. That's true of pretty much any Victor Hugo novel. I mean, when you pick up a Victor Hugo novel, you really don't expect the hero to be alive at the end. But you still feel a bit disappointed when he's not. And the other one I think sort of comes to mind are the Southern Vampire Mysteries, the Sookie Stackhouse books by Charlene Harris, because I loved the series at the start, didn't mind it through the middle. By the end I started to become a bit less keen on it. and I think the ending for me just didn't work the way I'd hoped it would. I had really high expectations. I wanted certain characters to end up together and it didn't happen. So I wouldn't say the book was ruined, just that it didn't quite go the way I wanted it to go. Number 5, which characters do you wish were not killed off? Well, I think we can just go back to Victor Hugo there and just say anyone in a Victor Hugo novel. Eponine, Marius in Les Miserables, Gilliatt in The Toilers of the Sea, all those great characters who had terrible times all the way through the book. Gwynplaine in L'Homme qui rit, The Man Who Laughs. They've all had terrible times and they don't even get a happy ending to finish it off, so all of them. Number 6, bookish peeves. I would say, for this one I'm not going to go for content so much as people's treatment of books. I really hate lending books and then they come back with the spines all bent and like absolutely trashed, and you wonder what on earth the person did to them. Did they like just chuck them in the washing machine, or you know? I very rarely lend books because of that, because I'm so pristine about keeping my books nice. I don't want anything to happen to them. So there's only a few select people to whom I'd be willing to lend books who I trust enough to get them back to me in an okay condition. Book 7, questions, I'm still doing it. I think I ought to just go back to bed and just give up on today. Question 7, books you feel deserve more recognition. I would say anything written by Halldór Laxness, who's an Icelandic author. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature, and yet when I mentioned reading his books, pretty much no one has ever heard of his name. Even my university English professor, when I was chatting to him back last year, and I was talking about Halldór Laxness, and he was like, who? Never heard of him. So definitely I'd love to see him and his books get more recognition. Finally, thoughts on censorship and banning books. I'm against it completely. I don't think books should be banned. I'm even a little on the fence when it comes to warning labels and that. I mean, I can understand to an extent why some of them are useful when it's something like depicting rape or abuse, and people who've been through that I can understand might be triggered and upset by those events. So I can understand that, but I do feel that the warnings are getting out of control now, and we're warning about absolutely ridiculous things as well. I think we should just stick to those kind of key issues and not go overboard. It's becoming a bit of a nanny state in terms of having to tell everyone all the spoilers and everything that happens in the book. So I'm not keen on that, but in terms of censorship and as it relates to banning books, I'm definitely against it. I think the point of books is to open your eyes to new perspectives, to new ideas, and if you just ban everything that a particular government or particular group of people doesn't agree with, then you're just going to be in this insular environment, and you're never going to be able to grow or experience anything new in your life. So yeah, I'm not in favour of banning books. So that was the no disclaimer tag. Hopefully some of my answers have not upset too many people, and I'm sorry to all the J.K. Rowling fans. Just to reiterate, I'm not saying she's a bad writer, just that I think she gets a tiny bit more credit than she deserves. Okay, so I'll end there for now. I will be back again very soon with another video, and I look forward to seeing you all again then. Bye for now, everyone.